Hey, what is up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys I have a deck profile for you, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the new cards from Sun and Moon. I was looking over the Sun and Moon cards, and one caught my eye. It was Masquerain. And then I remembered there was a Slowking that had a very similar ability, and so I decided why not make this fun deck and see how it goes. And I was right, it's fun. It is absolutely a blast to play. Now this deck isn't meant to be taken too serious, so keep that in mind. It's a fun deck, but we're going to get around to it. So, we have a 3-3 Masquerain. This is Masquerain Slowking Yveltal, and the list will be down in the description below, so you guys go check that out. But Masquerain, of course, is one of the new cards from Sun and Moon. Has the attack Struggle Bug for 30, and then you move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon. So, that doesn't seem all that good, but of course, we also have Slowking, which we play a 2-2 lineup. And Slowking has Royal Flash. Now this is basically Struggle Bug. Once during your turn before you attack, you may flip a coin. If heads, move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to hit one of their bench Pokemon. Blech. So yeah, these two have pretty much the same thing going on. Slowking is an ability. Masquerain, of course, is an attack. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. I'm going to see how it does. And it turned out to be pretty annoying. Now, of course, you know, there is stuff like Max Elixir, and there's all kinds of energy acceleration and such going on. And, you know, this deck, I was like, I need to try to make this pretty much as annoying as possible. So, the strategy is very simple. You have Struggle Bug here on Masquerain, which can move energies from the active, and then you have Slowking that does the same thing. So basically the idea of this deck is to manipulate energy as much as possible, making it a huge hindrance on your opponent. Now, if your opponent has stuff that just sits on their bench, like a Hoopa or something like that, then that's pretty much where you want to move the energy. You want to move the energy to a Pokemon that is not much of a threat. And then basically you just keep doing this and make it to where they just don't have energy at all. You make it to where they just can't really do much, they're just in a huge bind. And so I was like, okay, these two alone just isn't enough. So I was looking over some cards. I was looking at Mewtwo from Evolutions. I was looking at Oranguru from Sun and Moon. And finally, I just decided to go with Yveltal. So, really? What's going on out there? Anyway, so I decided to go with Yveltal, and it's because of Evo Ball, of course. It does energy, or it does more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. And so I was under the impression I could just keep moving energies, I could make it to where they just can't do anything, and then I could hit a big Lysandre and just remove all their energy off the field completely. And then of course, Fright Yveltal has many uses. I can just sit there and move energy, and then I can just kind of go into the process of picking off stuff. And with how, you know, just how popular Shaymin is in general, this was just pretty much just a good decision. And so that's pretty much the idea of the deck. Of course, we have two Shaymin, just for consistency reasons. But it's kind of cool because also Masquerain has free retreat, and so you don't really have to worry about doing too much. You can just kind of free retreat into the Yveltal and then go for the Lysandre. And that is pretty much just the whole strategy of this deck. Just to move energy around and move it to something that you know, they just can't really attack with, and they just can't really do much with, and then you just knock it out with an Yveltal. Pretty much you do a bunch of nonsense to go for a silly play, aka the fun deck. So that is the Pokemon, and now I'm going to go over the trainers and such and tell you guys a little bit why I played them. So, starting off, of course, we have 4 Sycamore. I don't really need to go over this too much. Same thing, don't really need to go over it too much. Then we have the 2 Lysandre. This is going to be pretty much the key card that you need to bring up Pokemon to knock them out with Yveltal. Alright. So, I played one Team Skull Grunt. Now, I was kind of leaning towards Team Flare Grunt. I was like, okay, that kind of seems like a better play, maybe, just to discard energy. But then I thought about the fact that, of course, Shaymin does indeed have Sky Return. So, if Shaymin is the only viable option, really, for me to move energy to, because, of course, there's a lot of decks that don't really play too many tech cards. And so I'm thinking, if I'm moving this to a big attacker, then, you know, I was like, you know, it's just going to become awkward. And of course, Ninja Boy is a thing, so they can Ninja Boy into Attacker or a Shaymin, and then just Sky Return all the energy right back. And so I was like, you know what, if they get cute with it, then I'm going to have a Skull Grunt waiting, and then I can just discard energy out of their hand. Also, if my opponent has a big hand, then I can just kind of take a gander at what they have, get ready for next turn, see what the strategy might be, see which way I need to go about it. And if they don't have too much, then I'm going to retreat the Masquerin and just start attacking with Yveltal. This deck can go aggro Yveltal if you do need to. And on top of that, you just have the luck of possibly discarding a DCE or a double dragon or just the energy in general. So that is one of the reasons why I played this card. And it may not seem like it does too much, but after playing several games with this, it turned out to be a very clutch card. Ninja Boy probably is this deck's biggest weakness, but when you think about it, if you have a couple Yveltal set up and you've been moving energy to one Pokemon and they do Ninja Boy into an attacker, well, Yveltal, it doesn't take much for Yveltal to knock something out. And that's something I did try to do with this deck, is I tried to make sure I had at least 1 or 2 attackers ready to go. And if they do Ninja Boy, then of course you do have Slowking and Masquerain to potentially, possibly move to energy and try to get around that. I did want to try 3 Yveltal. That is something that I might still do. But for the most part, the 2 Yveltal EX and the 2 regulars kind of just seem like the better route to go. To go along with the supporters, of course, 4 VS Seeker. You guys know me, I always play 4. And 4 4 Ultra Ball and 2 Level Ball. I apologize, guys, I keep stuttering this video. But yeah, these are just in here to search out your Pokemon. Of course, most of your stuff is 90 HP or less. Masquerain, Surskit, and Slowpoke. Unfortunately, Slowking has 100. But these are just in here to grab some, basic Pokemon and go from there. 3 Crushing Hammer along with 2 Enhanced Hammer. Like I said, this deck is all for energy manipulation, and so while you're moving the energy, you can also discard the energy too. So if they're trying to set up stuff off the bench and they're playing it smart and they're not attaching to their active, and they have something up active with free retreat, then I basically am just going to sit there and try to Crushing Hammer or Enhanced Hammer the energy off the bench. Eventually they'll have to bring up the attacker, which is when the strategy will take place. But yeah, that's what I just kind of went with that. I originally had 4 Crushing Hammer, but I can't remember what I ended up dropping it for. I think it was for something else. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are sitting there thinking to yourselves, well, what happens if they don't play down anything? What happens if they don't play down any bad Pokemon, or they just start playing, they catch on to what you're doing, so they just don't play down anything? Well, I run these just in case. Now, this is another thing that I forgot to mention with Team Skullgrunt. I get to look at their hand, and I get to see if they do have any basics. I can play Captivating Pokepuff and make them play it down. Your opponent reveals his or her hand, put any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. This has become clutch in a few situations. If your opponent isn't playing down Shaymins or Hoopas or something like that, or just anything that they don't want energy on, Captivating Pokepuff is a pretty sweet option. 3 Trader's Mail, really this is just in here to fetch out some of these crazy, wacky ideas and such that you're going to be going for. These 2 cards I'm kind of iffy on, really. These are more so for the Yveltal EXs, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep them in here. Pretty much just to kind of make sure attacker tanky and makes it to where Yveltal can take a hit or 2. Because things do a ton of damage. The sun's going down. It got darker. Hope you guys can see or still see the cards. But pretty much just kind of makes it to where Yveltal can, of course, take some more hits, do a little more damage. And so I'm not 100% sure if I like this or not. Having the Fighting Fury belt has made it to where Yveltal doesn't go down as easy, which has kind of benefited me in a way. So I don't know. And then we have 1 Escape Rope to get, I guess, to have a switching card, and just to kind of make it a little awkward on my opponent if they have something up active, and I could just make them make a tough decision, I guess. I don't know. But the energy are pretty simple. We have 8 Dark, and then we have 4 DC. And that's pretty much the idea of the deck. Manipulate energy. If your opponent isn't playing down stuff, you have Captivating Pokepuff. If they Ninja Boy into a Shaymin, you have Team Skullgrunt to just make them discard the energy. You have the potential to move a couple energy a turn with Slowking and Masquerain. And this deck is completely stupid, and that is the point of it. This deck is just to have fun and enjoy it and just try to annoy your opponent. But I have had an absolute blast playing this, and I'm still working on it as we speak and as you're watching this video. I'm still trying to find out a way to make it a little more consistent, a little better, but this is the deck that I've been feeling a little comfortable with. I am going to probably make some changes. I don't know what yet, because I need to... I don't know. There are some new decks springing up, and there are new strategies coming up that I need to prepare for and adjust this deck to. But, yeah, this deck probably does have auto losses, but I'm not really too worried about that because this is a fun deck. But, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure to like it and subscribe for some more content. And you're all awesome. Take care. And this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out. Take care, guys.